Protect yourself and your family from unexpected challenges. Consider accident-only income protection. Click the link in the description to find out more.
Boxing King Media in association with SaveMoreMoney.com. The fans will be wondering, the guy in the advert is directly in front of us, Johnny Nelson.
Looks like me a bit. You know what, we in Spencer and myself got in, were asked to get involved in promoting something that's actually good for people in this current climate. And check it out. Go and have a look. And they're a very good, amazing company. They're honourable. And their intentions are honourable. So it was like an honour to just get involved. Can we use you for the advert? I went, yeah, man, no problem. So me and Spencer were in.
Definitely. So I'm actually going to put the link up for SaveMoreMoney.com as well. It's going to compete with the likes of Compare the Market, etc. But like you just said, their insurance is their expertise, and get the best deals before Christmas. It only takes 90 seconds and you can get a quote. Johnny, we're at your beautiful home once again. Have you killed them? I've got to rotate the camera here. Have you been like hunting bears and skinning them and chucking them over your sofa?
Yeah, sexual chocolate, everybody. Sexual chocolate. You know what? Actually, it's just a nice, cozy feel. Funny, believe it or not, I don't really go out that much. So when I'm home, I just want to chill. You know, either be in the garden or be in the house. And I'm actually... Now I must be getting old, man, because I just love just chilling inside. So if I'm at home, I want to make the most of it.
But you've not been hunting bears and skinning them, etc.?
Yeah, out the back, few bears out the back, shot them.
Good stuff. Let's get to it, man. I've got to say, we've got to start with your MBE, a massive, massive achievement for you. I've literally just left the Ingle gym and I spoke to Dom about it, and one of the things he said was like, you know, this is a kid from a poor background from Netherthorpe with no confidence, who was scared of his own shadow, which he's told me before, who's now achieved what you've achieved, and you've gone and got yourself an MBE, which is like, you know, it's recognition of the highest order in this country.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And I actually thought, initially when I found out, I thought they've made a mistake here. Someone's going to tap me on the shoulder and say, wrong Johnny. But then I can remember Brendan mentioning it years ago. And I said, Brendan, you know, I'm not you, you know, but obviously Brendan's passed away, and to me, as far as I'm concerned, even if I can try and emulate a fraction of what Brendan did for people, for community, that's what I've been doing, that's what I'm working on. So it gives me a chance to launch the Johnny Nelson Foundation, which launches February the 3rd with a black tie gala dinner, and the event will basically help raise money to give to two charities this year that will help young adults and kids.
Make sure I'm there. I've got to say, you know, like I pointed out to Dom, you know, getting an MBE isn't just a case of what you do in the ring, it's what you do outside the ring. It's based on your character as well, that you got to be clean cut and doing stuff in the community, which you obviously are.
Yeah, I'm not an angel, but if they found it fitting to give me an MBE, complete and utter honour. My girls loved it, and that was probably the best part of the day. I took my 3 daughters down, and we had a wicked day. That's something I could never buy them, an opportunity like that, an experience like that. So it was more than worth it. Amazing memories that I set.
I know from history, you know, how much Brendan Ingle means to you, and I've got to ask you, like, if you just close your eyes for a second, and if you walked on that stage and got that medal the other day, and let's just say Brendan was in the crowd, could you kind of tell us what do you think he would have said as he walked back to him?
Brendan would have been proud, and I always think that whatever we did reflected on him. If we looked good, he looked good. If we looked bad, he looked bad. That's one thing he told me from day one. And to me, it was more about thinking, when people see me getting that, Brendan's name's got to be mentioned alongside it. You know, he's passed away, 5 years it is. But his name has got to be mentioned, and he'll always be mentioned. I'll always do everything possible to keep people remembering how amazing this man was. So me getting that, I think he'd be very proud. I had my suit on, and inside my suit, I had my mum's name inside my suit, so my mum was with me as well. So, and it was just the 2 people I really wanted there more than anything, were those 2, but they're not here. So anyhow I could pay any homage to them at all, to get him in, to join in celebrations. That's what I did do.
Well, the fact that you did that, I think it's an achievement in itself. You've kind of shown the work that them guys, your mum and Brendan put into you. Moving on to the boxing, I'm here at your home to, speak to you about the current matters. One of the things I want to speak to you about first, I think it was put out yesterday. Eddie Hearn did an interview, and basically in that interview, it indicated that Anthony Joshua has been working with Ben Davison. I think he worded it as Anthony's been working with Ben tactically when he's been in the UK, though Derek James is the head trainer. Just want to get your opinions on just base them comments.
So when I first heard this a while ago, I get it. People are making a bigger deal of it than what it actually is. The fact is, when AJ's here in the UK, he needs a gym to train in. Ben Davison's gym is a gym. So you can give him whatever label you want. He's still with Derek, still goes over there. So basically, he's not living in the US with his coach, because that would make massive difference. But he's got a life here. He's got family here. So I can totally understand him using the gym here in the UK. But then all of a sudden, people are putting a tag on it. People are getting all giddy and excited about it. Eddie, it is what it is. So he's got to train somewhere. The worst thing would be is if when he wasn't with Derek James, he did nothing. So it shows he's ticking over. He's in the gym, and it could be anywhere. He just picked that gym.
If you're Derek James, because I think Dominic, when I spoke to him, he made a point of the fact that somebody like him, old school mentality, wouldn't have another trainer been doing the tactics when he would be expecting to do everything.
So that's what's happening. It's everybody else that's making a bigger deal of it. AJ's training somewhere. So all of a sudden, everybody's saying he's training with Ben Davison. He's using Ben Davison's gym. Ben Davison, it's a cool. I'm assuming it's a cool setup like that. So that's why Derek's nose won't feel pushed out of joint, because he's just saying make sure you're getting in the gym. So I suppose it's like being on the England squad. A lot of the guys and girls on the England squad, they'll live all over the UK and train with their trainers at home. But when they've got to go to represent the country and spend weeks here, they're training with somebody else. And that's just how it is. I think people are making a bigger deal of what it is. He needs to train somewhere.
But Eddie Hearn was quoted as saying that he's been working with Ben over the last few fights on tactics,
using his gym. And again, that I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to remember and relate to how the culture of a gym works, especially if you train in a borough, you train elsewhere, and you need to train at home. He's got to train in somebody's gym. Ben Davison might say X, Y, Z. His coach is Derek. Derek's his coach. And if AJ decides, you know what, I like you better than I like you, that's his decision. But if he's employed to do that job by AJ, then we can have the conversation. See him in the corner, you have the conversation. But if he's there, if he's not present, that means his position is titular. He's in a titular position where it doesn't actually mean anything. He's just there.
Hypothetically speaking, if he does decide to go with Ben, and it does come out that he was actually going to be training with Ben from now on, and not Derek James, what do you think of that as a move? Ben's known for his tactics with regards to video analysis, and him and his counterpart Lee Wiley work together and basically break down fights and make game plans around video footage, all that kind of stuff. It's very new age. Some of the old school trainers probably don't go down that route. If he does go down that route, what do you make of it?
Doesn't matter how many thrills and sprills and lights you put on something, you've got to get your basics right. You've got to have a good coach, tactician, trainer to teach you to improve yourself constantly, day in, day out. You need somebody that you respect, you listen to. Because once you lose respect, once you stop listening, your development stops as well. So Ben, even though he might be getting himself established as a coach that has been in the corner with a lot of fighters, in reality, has he got that depth of knowledge or that level for you to think, I trust you? It's like Emmanuel Stewart. Emmanuel Stewart would jump from one world champion to another world champion because you knew this guy was steeped in experience, knowledge, and vast knowledge. I don't know if Ben's there yet. Ben, he'd probably not be able to to demand those stripes until another 20 years because he's been around the game long enough. He understands certain movements, certain parts of the job. And listen, it's a skill remembering. It's a skill to fight. It's also a skill to be able to look at a video and say, that'll work, that'll work. It's also a skill to be able to remember who boxed in 1964 round 7 in Kentucky. They're all skills, but the skill of fighting mano a mano, to get in there, to teach someone how to think, how to position himself, how to pace himself, how to cajole your opponent in, that takes years and years of deep experience with many, many fighters. And I don't know if Ben's been around long enough to actually be given that kind of accolade. But if AJ feels he is, then that's between he and AJ.
But, you know, his success he's had with Lee Wood, who a lot of people wrote off when he left the Ingle gym, the success with the Lee Wood alone, would that not kind of indicate that he knows what he's doing?
It does. Listen, you know, I'm not saying he doesn't know what he's doing. What I'm saying is, Brendan always said, if you produce one champion from scratch, people say it's luck. Produce two champions from scratch, people say, all right, then maybe he's a bit lucky. But when you start producing champions from day dot, they've not made fighters that have got the basics done and they've come to you and you're polishing them up again. When you're producing successful fighters from scratch to the top, that's where credit's due. So there's many trainers out there, Shane McGuigan, he gets a lot of made fighters and they'll go to him for the finished polish. But then he's getting credit for the talent that these fighters have had before they got to him. He's just bringing that side out of them. So I think Shane's had two fighters where he said, yeah, I made them from scratch. And I think Ben Davies, he'll be in that position where he might be there near the finish line with these fighters that are achieving amazing things. But in reality, you've got to produce it from scratch to get that kind of respect where people think, good trainer, this guy's top dog. And that Emmanuel Stewart kind of respect, and Brendan Ingle kind of respect, you know, to say, this is the man. So Ben's relationship with AJ, if that works for AJ, it works for AJ, if that is the case. But again, I go back to the fact I think AJ's using his place. It works for him. They don't clash. They probably get on. And that works for him, and everybody else is making a bigger deal out of it.
Okay, Doug. We'll move on to Tyson Fury. Obviously, you've done a few interviews in the last few weeks. I think the headlines have been, you know, Tyson Fury unprofessional, Tyson Fury's legs are gone. But I've watched the interviews, and I think you quite clearly said that you felt Tyson was the best heavyweight of this era. But then you said, you know, you feel like his legs are gone. So I'm going to talk to you about the leg situation, because I was speaking to Dom about it earlier and he was giving his, like, you know, explanation. So just explain to me, you know, when you say his legs are gone, what you know, from a fighter's perspective, what do you mean? So first of all, let me touch on the event itself. I think Saudi Arabia did an amazing job. They did their job. They got the eyes of the world on an amazing spectacle that they put together. And that's why you've got to applaud and say, you know what, top dog. The reason why I said Tyson Fury was unprofessional, because in my opinion, Saudi Arabia did their side of the bargain, but Tyson Fury didn't, in my opinion. My opinion was, I looked at him, I thought, you've not trained for this. You've not trained for this and give this man respect and give the event respect like they've given to you, given you that platform. You've gone there, I thought, this is easy. You know, you've gone in there, you're probably, you know, to stay a champion, you've got to fight like a challenger. You've got to be hungry like a challenger. And I'm looking, thinking, this man's not trained, because not in a million years should this fight be going like this. After the fight, Tyson said he trained. He had a good training camp. He trained really, really hard. So if that's what he wants us to believe, which I don't believe, if that's what he wants us to believe, then what do you put his performance down to? Because even a bad night, he'd box better than that if he trained really hard. If you don't overtrained, you'd leave some in the gym. If you've trained really hard, mentally as well as physically, Tyson Fury, the best heavyweight in the world, that should never happen to him. So if he wants us to believe that he trained really hard, the only other solution it leads you to is the fact that his legs have gone. When your legs have gone, in the timing, it is a split-second timing that's gone. Your movement, your balance, your spring, your hand-foot-eye coordination, it's off. And so therefore, your legs are you're not as fleet-footed as what you once were. It happens to every single fighter at some point if you go on too long.
Tyson Fury has been in a trilogy with Wilder. You're not telling me that's not had any effect on his career at all. I remember Tony Bellew saying it about David Haye before they boxed. Now, I didn't actually think about it. And he said, well, look at his last few fights. What has he done? Look at his movements. Look at Tyson Fury's last few fights. What has he done? He's managed to get rid of these guys because he's that good. And you've not even noticed. So now he got in with somebody that was strong, sturdy, powerful, and he had to use his boxing IQ and his legs to get the better of him. And I didn't see that. So I put it down to the fact that he was training. But he's swearing blind. You know what? I trained hard for that fight. So therefore you leave me with the other fact that, well, if that's the case, your legs have gone. You've got to want one of them. I don't believe he trained as hard as what he should have done, which meant he didn't show the respect that Saudi did to him. I don't believe that. That's just my opinion. What I believe is Tyson Fury gets his act together and trains and respects him like he got in there with a Wilder or something like that. He blasts Ngannou. He totally outboxes him. Might not knock him out, but he'll totally outbox him. Because I always think a good boxer beats everybody. And so the fight being like that, when I saw that, I thought, what am I watching here? You know, Spencer Brown, his manager. And he was a little offended by my response to reports that Spencer Brown has said he's fighting December 23rd. And I said, Spencer Brown, who is he? Well, what authority has he got? It was an honest question, because if I didn't know he was his manager, not many people did. It's all of a sudden now just like, who's Spencer Brown? So I'm asking an honest question. If you want to try and censor what people say for fear of making you look bad, it don't work like that. You've got to have conversations so questions will be asked. So this isn't a personal attack on Spencer Brown. It's like, well, what's happened to Frank Warren? What's happened to Bob Arum? Frank's not a silly guy. I spoke to Spencer, you were in the room. Spencer said, I'm his manager. I said, Spencer, you don't have to prove anything to me. You don't have to prove anything. You know, I question that, and you're telling me he's manager. Where's Frank Warren? Frank Warren handed the reins over to you because he knows Tyson Fury is a deep, complicated character, who is very hard to control. And so therefore, I'm quite sure Frank's had quite a few headaches in his management of Tyson, just my opinion. So therefore he's saying, here, Spencer. So Spencer thinks, I've got the golden goose, I'm the manager. But it comes with a price. And the price is, all of a sudden, you've got to stand up and be accounted for, because people are going to ask questions. Well, what's your credentials? What's your qualification to handle such a elite fighter at this level? You know, you might be able to do the PR, the promoting side, X, Y, Z, but as a manager, to manage a fighter. So I know the week before the fight, I know these guys will pull left, right, and centre. And I know for a fact, if it was my coach and trainer, Brendan, he'd have hustled and negotiated that he suited me more than it suited them, no matter what commitments you had. Oh, he's only going to be there for 10 minutes. He's only going to be there for... His concern would be me getting my rest, getting my head right, getting prepared for the fight. Not the business side of it. The business side of it, that'll be dealt with after the fight. As a manager, that's your responsibility. So the book has to stop with you. Didn't stop with Frank, because now the manager is Spencer Brown. This is me actually saying, everybody gets it. Everybody gets questions, getting the finger pointed. So this is not a personal attack on Spencer Brown. I'm saying it how it is. And the fact is, if you're his manager, you know, you're going to get these questions asked. If I'm saying who is Spencer Brown, I'm saying it because I didn't know he was his manager. So now he's the manager. I know he's doing amazing jobs in regards to trying to sort out promotions and events out there. That might be what he does. But to manage a fighter, a top-tier fighter, you've got to understand a fighter's mentality, a fighter's commitment, what a fighter has to do to make sure he performs to the best of his ability. If you're going to promote, be a good promoter. But if you're going to manage a fight and you're going to take that title, you've got to understand it comes with a price. And you're going to get questioned. People want to know, well, hold on a minute. You know, and you're going to be in those sticky situations. So you can't take these things personal. I've known Spencer Brown years. And this is why I'm going about it. In regards to me saying Tyson's legs are gone, again, I don't believe he trained hard enough, mentally as well as physically, which is why he performed the way he did. So he's telling us he did. So if you want us to believe that, then therefore that only leaves me with the opportunity, the other option of, well, your legs have gone, if that's the case.
You know, just based on that, I don't know if you can draw any personal comparisons, because I interviewed him post-fight, and he kind of refused to blame anyone else, and he refused to take any credit away from Ngannou, because whenever I suggested, you know, did you take your eye off the ball, did you do this, he was like, no, you know, don't take any credit away from Ngannou. Let's just say if he did, could it be a case of him as a fighter not wanting to make any excuses? And have you ever been in that situation where you've not trained?
Saying. You've got to respect that. But listen, you're interviewing him, you're talking, you're asking me questions, you want my opinion of what I see. I'm not going to go with the narrative and go with our foolishness. I said, well, this is what I see. This is my translation of it. I see through the foolishness. You know, so people take it as though you're hating on them or you've got something against them. No, you're just saying your say. I'm not going to be censored. I'm not going to say what you want me to say to be a mate. No, it doesn't mean anything personal. It means, no, this is my thoughts, my opinions. And so Tyson saying that, you know, good on him. You know, good on him thinking, no, I'll take responsibility for that. Remember, he should have been boxing the 23rd of December. And I know there's an event going on to be announced next week, supposed to be big, massive. But what I'm saying to you is Tyson Fury was boxing 23rd of November, no matter what. You were in the room. His manager said, no matter, he's fighting, I've negotiated this, I've got a video. I said, I don't need to see no video. I believe you, Spencer, you're the manager. Now, the manager needs to explain why Tyson Fury is not fighting.
Obviously, I can only tell you speaking on facts, and that's all I just stick to facts.
It needs to come from the manager, not you, not second-hand.
I mean, like from what when I interviewed him, he did say that he's going to fight on that date, but there was a big but, and he said, however, unless there's injuries or any issues that are picked up from this fight, then we'll have to readdress that. And he did 100% say that on the interview, and you can obviously go back and see that. And my assumption is that is basically what's happened.
Okay, and so now that's changed around. What I'm saying is Spencer Brown may be doing an amazing job working with amazing people that are saying, we want the world to see where we are from. He's got everything laid out for him. Be the promoter, be a promoter, do your thing. But if you're going to be a manager, that's a different set of responsibilities, which he's probably finding out right now. Because if Tyson looks bad, he looks bad. If Tyson makes a bad decision, he makes a bad decision. They both go hand in hand. If you're the promoter and you're doing your job to put on a massive, beautiful event, that's your job. That's what you do. Take that, all that, own that.
Just out of curiosity, again, you know, could you explain, like, you know, for people who probably don't understand? So if you fight, so if Tyson Fury, for example, he's got Spencer as his manager and Frank Warren on paper with Bob Barrymore, the co-promoters. So if the Saudis are like, right, we want to put an event on, we want Tyson to be a part of that, would they contact the manager first or the promoter? I'm just trying to figure out, like, who would be the first line of contact for the people who are backing it up.
Okay, so they've got to work hand in hand. So my understanding would be the promoter approaches the manager, say, I've got this, I can do this, I can do it on this day, in this place, I'm going to pay you X, Y, Z. The manager then goes to his fight and say, I can get you X, Y, Z, I can get you this money. So as far as the fight is concerned, he wants to fight and get paid. The manager's job is to do what's in the best interest of the fighter, not the promoter. And so therefore, the promoter will tell the manager, I've got this in hand. The fighter don't need to get enthralled in that side of it until the manager comes in and says, right, I've got this. And then the fighter says, yes, no, not doing with that. You can't be bus driver, ticket collector, inspector and passenger if you want to do a good job as a fighter. And so you get him in order, you get the right people in line. I saw Tyson's brother do an interview, rated. And I'm saying, what has he said that I haven't said? Tyson Fury, he's got a lot of yes men around him. And if you have yes men around you, they're scared to challenge you on decisions you make. And if they're scared to challenge you on decisions you make, your development stops because nobody's going to want to lose out on getting paid on ridiculous dough. Now, if that's someone from inside the camp that's saying that, what's the difference between him saying it and me saying it? Because I see it from the outside in. It's common sense. It's history repeating itself. Unfortunately, Ash, our game attracts vultures. It attracts parasites. It attracts ninjas. They disappear in the dark. They're there when it's light and when all things are good. That's what our sport does. So, and if you've got a loved one that's saying you've got too many bloodsuckers around you, you've got too many, hangers on around, yes men around you. You're saying that because the person it affects more is Tyson. And those yes men come in all shapes and sizes.
Interesting thoughts there, Johnny. The other aspect, you touched on there about the legs gone. I spoke to Dom, and Dom gave me a different, because I said to him, end of the day, Johnny's been a fighter, so his perception is that the legs have gone based on what Tyson said. But he reckons if you're a heavyweight, you're not dehydrating yourself, so your legs are probably going to be some of the last things that will go as a fighter. And he thinks
and that's from Dominic, my old trainer, and that's from his point of view. I'm a fighter. When your legs have gone, it's not just about that, it's about the timing, hand-foot-eye coordination. Sometimes your foot's got to push off and pivot off at the same time as you're throwing a shot, so you get full power, full extension, full accuracy in it. Once that time is just out, that's when you see the decline. So let's see. You saw him against Derek Chisora, you saw him against Dillian Whyte, and you saw he got the job done. You saw him against Ngannou. My man was falling over his feet. You saw him against Ngannou. He was holding on to Ngannou hard because Ngannou was a bloody handful. It took him, in my opinion, until round 6 before he could try and get the measure of him. So why is that? Because Tyson Fury is a good fighter. That should never have happened. It shouldn't have happened. And I was one of the main people that said, Ngannou's just got to punch his chance. And it sounds like I'm taking everything away from Ngannou. I'm frustrated because Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world. And so he let a guy come in from a different code to make him look bad. And I'm like, you've not done your job. You've not mentally and physically done your job. So what happens is you start to believe in your own hype. I saw it with Naz. I've seen it with fighters in the past. You start to believe in their own hype and start to think, nah, I've done this. Remember when Naz boxed Pereira? Yeah. You understand? And so when he's in Bob Hope's house, sunning it or whatever he was doing, Pereira's in the mountains, in the snow training like a madman. It was somebody that believed in their own hype, and all of a sudden lost the ball because Naz should have beat Pereira. The Naz I know should have beat Pereira. But the Naz that was there started to believe in all his hype. And that's what I see in Tyson Fury. And that's why the yes men around him will keep stroking that ego. Will keep saying, yeah, you're right. Yeah. To challenge, okay, then whatever. He needs people around him that will tell him how it is. So he's constantly developing himself. That's what he needs.
The interesting thing of this is, with this whole term of yes men, we heard this when with AJ over the last 6-7 months, a year. People are saying, he's got too many yes men around him. But then if you start dissecting the people that he had around him, everyone kind of had a role.
A yes man is this.
Well, explain to me.
A yes man is this. If you're getting paid a decent wage and you're getting the adulation of the attention what it draws, you're going to want to be on the team. You're going to want to be involved. You're not going to say anything that's going to rock the boat.
Just curious, when you say yes man, obviously you've seen some footage, because I did this with AJ a while ago. I asked Dom, actually, I questioned him because he was saying AJ had too many yes men around him. So I asked him, who are you speaking about? So is there anyone you've seen on the videos or anything like that? You think
no, but you can tell by you can tell by when you look at it and you look at the crowd, you think, well, what do you know about boxing? What do you know about boxing? And why are you in such a tight circle and you don't know shit about boxing? So therefore, your influences are going to be those people that are in that circle around you. If you're surrounded by boxing people, boxing folk that are steeped in boxing, then you're only going to get positive boxing knowledge put inside your conversation, mindset. If you're surrounded by yes men, they don't get it. They don't know, maybe tonight we'll have a burger tonight, just have a treat night. There's no nights off when you're training for a fight. We'll have a pint tonight, just have a treat night. They don't understand the value and understand how important it is to stay completely on track. They don't understand the mindset of a fighter when he needs that tranquility of himself. They don't understand the mindset of a fighter when he gets in a mood, when he's been training hard and he just needs to rest. So when these yes men, what I'm saying is when a fighter says I want to do something which is not good for him because he's thinking he needs someone to pull him in line and say, no, we're not doing that. Go to your bed. Have a rest. Yes men are those people that will challenge him once, might challenge him once and say, all right, then I'll come with you. They're the ones that Mike Tyson talks about. Mike Tyson was surrounded by them. So if you're looking at historically, amazing fighters that were surrounded by yes men, and they don't realize they're yes men until they stepped out of it. You're in a unique position to say, you know what? I want to surround myself with the right energy. I'm not saying that yes men are bad energy. What I'm saying is they're bad for your career. And that's what I mean by yes men.
You know, from my experience and from what I saw, because I saw some people comment on his ring walk saying that there were so many guys, and I think they're the people they were referring to. From my own observations, you know, I've spent a bit of time around their team. I think 6 of them were his brothers. There was a strength and conditioning coach, somebody who does his massaging, etc. Obviously his dad, Joseph Parker, and some of his team. But from my observations that I saw around their hotel and fight week build-up, Tyson kind of locked himself away in his room, and he kind of didn't really leave his room up until the last couple of days. So I'm just talking from that observation.
So let me ask you, who was his brother referring to then? Because his brother's in camp. Who was his brother referring to as yes men?
That's the interesting question, and I look forward to hopefully getting him down and see if he wants to elaborate on that.
The problem is this: his brother's probably spoken out of turn in regards to things he shouldn't have really discussed what happens behind closed doors, so he might get his knuckles wrapped. But
knowing Shane, I don't think that's type of character.
So what I'm saying to you is, you know, he sees it. I'm an experienced ex-fighter. You can always tell when a fighter surrounds himself by yes men, even from afar. You can tell. You can tell how they perform, how they talk, how they carry themselves, away from the ring. Their circle of friends, who they move with. You can tell, and you can just tell by performance. You can tell. It's just you can just see it. And again, yeah, I was disappointed in Tyson against Ngannou because I thought, nah, man, Tyson's the best heavyweight in the world. You know, so that's saying, yo, giving you the props. But you weren't professional about it, about the approach. That's what I believe. I don't really believe his legs have gone. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. But now I'm thinking about the Derek Chisora fight, and I'm thinking about the Dillian Whyte fight. I'm thinking, well, what did I see or what I didn't see? You know, but I know what I saw when he fought Ngannou. I know when I saw a heavyweight falling over himself. I know I saw a heavyweight grabbing hold of my man tight instead of using his boxing ability. You know, I know what I saw. So again, and it's the one thing you can't turn back is time. And the one thing that catches us all up eventually. And I think it's catching up on him now.
Well, let's see how it all unfolds, Johnny. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and I think in the next few weeks we're going to get some big announcements that'll probably blow the boxing world apart, I think, from what I've heard. So yeah, anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, not at all, not at all. I think you're doing a good job. I think your coverage of Saudi was unbelievable. I think the access you get is outstanding, so I think you're doing a good job. It looks like someone's taking over that same Saudi, so I'll be like, yo. But Boxing King Media, well done, massive.
I appreciate that, Johnny. But we don't get the access with everyone. The Saudis trusted us, and I think we repaid it. And hopefully, we'll get the same access with some of the promoters on closer to home.
You will. You will.
Thank you.
Have you ever been stranded on the side of a motorway with a broken down car? Like me, is that something that worries you? That's where Motor Breakdown Insurance comes in. If your vehicle breaks down, a trained professional will be sent out to get you back on the road. Or if this is not possible within the specified time frame, to transport you to your home or to the nearest garage.